that could have came in second place. Because no, once you place like an open, if you place first or second, you automatically get your pro card. So she already got it. Now she already got a pro card for women's physique. Now she got another pro card for figure, and I don't feel like she had a figure physique. And maybe somebody else that had more of one of the other competitors could have gotten second place, who just does figure, and they could have gotten their pro card that day. So that I didn't like about it. That I really don't like crossover because how can you cross over? The physiques look different. Bikini looks one way, figure looks a certain way, wellness looks a certain way. Women's physique looks a certain way. Women's bodybuilding looks a certain way. So I don't understand how they let people cross. I don't know. I don't think people should be allowed to cross over. But that's just my personal opinion.
Well, that happens quite often in NPC and IFBB. I've interviewed both. Mikhail interviews one lady. She won 3 pro cards
Mm-hmm.
in 2 different divisions. She won one in figure and two in 2 different classes in women's physique.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at some women, I think one thing is always that debate where you want to widen your chances. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
You want to see if you can. If I have more of a look at physique, let me see how I do here. If I have a look more for figure, let me see how I do here. If I more look for women's bodybuilding, let me see how I do. Like I said, that's one thing, especially NPC. They have that option for you. And
Yeah.
then I think one thing is the judging criteria. You don't stick with it because
Yeah.
even if you, like you said, you've been to Olympia and you look at some of the women. I know some ladies said, well, this is a competitor that's smaller than women's bodybuilding, but then there's some women in physique and women's bodybuilding that look almost. If you look at a good example, like you go back to someone like who would think about? You look at Angela Yo,
Yeah.
and her look is because she was physique. You look at someone like Cyril Vilgas, even though she's smaller, you
Yeah.
know, they could like it could. I think it could possibly. I think Angela probably cross over to physique as well. She could in women's bodybuilding.
Mm-hmm. I think Andrew's too big for women's physique though. I think she
Yeah,
had
she
to
is.
she had to get a little smaller to compete in women's physique. I think she's too big. I mean, I'm not talking about too big in size. I just
Mhm.
say she doesn't have a physique for it. She has an awesome physique, obviously, but like something like that. I think she's too big for women's physique.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Sarah Villegas, I don't know if I pronounced her name correctly.
For legacy, yeah, that's right.
Villegas. I like. I met her in 2021. Um, I really like her. She's really nice, but I've been following her since then, and she has gotten a lot bigger. I don't know if you remember how she was in 2021. But
Yeah.
I met her in person. She was a lot smaller than how she is now. And I saw her again the following year. She got bigger in 2022. Now 2024, this Olympia, she looked like she put on some more size.
Yeah.
But I think she's still too small for bodybuilding. But yeah, I don't like the whole idea of crossing over only because not to say all right, women's physique. I love every division. Even if it's not for me, like I love some bikini competitors. I think they have awesome physiques, but I don't want to be a bikini competitor. I don't think that's for me. Same thing with bodybuilding. I'm not getting that big. There's no way in hell. Nothing wrong with it, but I know that's not the look I'm going for. I just don't think it's fair because it's not fair because like I said, even like last weekend, like the woman that came in second place in figure, who got a pro card in figure, and she got a pro card in women's physique. I think somebody else could have gotten that pro card in women's figure that actually looked like a figure competitor. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I don't like crossover.
Hmm. Yeah.
Not in the same not in the same show.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, like if like, let's say I want to do figure right now, then like 2 years down, I want to try to do women's physique. I'm not gonna cross back over to figure and physique in the same show. I mean, I could do that in OCB anyway, but if I had the option, I wouldn't do that. Like I wouldn't think something like that was fair.
Hmm. Yeah, but
So
like I said, it's mostly a big thing probably because to see your chances in what division you get your pro card, and also it's a money thing, especially for these promoters, because you know what they want to make like one person who promoted that show in the natural show that's Scary Unit, and I've told that he most still straightly cash. You pay for your interest fee, especially as an amateur.
hmm
Even you pay for tickets, it's cash. but
Yeah.
it's about the money thing, so much of it. And the
Yeah.
thing is, the judges need to stick with the criteria that was set for
Yeah.
those divisions. Where
Yeah.
this is why, like, women's bodybuilding was almost out, because like the Arnold Schwarzenegger class used to have it years ago, but then they kicked it out.
Mhm.
It's kicked out to Olympia. And shout out to Mr. Jake Wood. Anytime I say his name, yo Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I gotta do it in time. I know a lot of guys named Jake, but I think as a competitor, you want that opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe the NPC IBB maybe should like put a guideline. Okay, if you're a figure competitor, you compete here. If you're a physique competitor, you compete here. Women's body, you compete here. If you're even if your men's in 212 or men's classic, you compete where you belong. But like I said, it's mostly about a money thing.
Yeah.
So, like after your show, I'll ask you this. What was that thing that was calling you, Nicole? That thing that you desire the most, especially when you're hungry and you're starving.
My go-to, my fun. I call it my fun food. My fun food. Like after the last show, I went straight to Popeyes after that.
I think you mentioned that. You can't Popeyes.
Popeyes. I don't want any. I don't want any. I don't want chicken breast. I don't want any white meat. I hadn't had at that point. I had even now. I barely eat any dark. There's no dark meat in my meal plan. No
Yeah.
dark meat chicken. I wanted a drumstick and I wanted a thigh.
Honestly, I love grilled chicken thighs.
Yeah.
Dark meat's nice, especially when you dine it because it's not as
Yeah.
high as fat. But
Yeah.
you like that. When you eat and it's juicy and it's like it's been a lot since I've been Popeye. I don't do too much fried foods because I can tell you by myself. I was almost 500 pounds at one point because I was taking my mother for a long time, and then when she passed, I had to take care of myself. And
Hmm.
right now, I can say about the thing about losing weight. I'm under 400 pounds.
Good.
And yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's tough sometimes, especially you know when you want certain things. Like one thing, I have a sweet tooth. I love cookies and cakes like that, and especially get the holidays coming up. You got Thanksgiving coming up.
Me too. Who
Yeah,
doesn't love cookies and cakes?
yeah. The thing is like you can't have too much of it because
Yeah.
I know your coach gives you a cheat meal or refeed during
Huh?
your prep.
Yeah. Yeah. She gave me uh chocolate chip cookies because I love chocolate chip cookies, and pretzels. I know this is like a big thing, but I love pretzels. So she threw that during prep. She threw that in my meal plan. And towards the end, she was like, "No, you get nothing."
You get nothing. You deserve nothing.
Yeah.
You feel like she's like Soap from
Yeah.
Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah. Yep. She said, "Nope.
No, 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 no.
No, no, no."
Like I said, it's tough. Like I said, people gotta understand there's a lot of things you have to sacrifice as a bodybuilder,
Yeah.
especially when you make this life change. Like I know like your family and friends don't understand it, but then it's good that they support you, like, go to shows with you. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you're doing things different from what you used to be. Like you can't go hang out here and there and there. You gotta be home so you get sleep and get your rest, it's part of recovery.
Yeah.
There's so much that's involved in it. Like, what like other than your boys, what about your rest of your family? How do you feel about it?
Oh, my family is very supportive. Yeah, they're very supportive. My mom, she's so proud of me. And my mother's the type. My mother's Jamaican. And if you know anything about Jamaicans or like Caribbean people in general, they're very brutally honest. They don't spare your feelings for anything. But my mom says, "Oh wow, she's like, you look great. You look really good." She's like really proud of me. My sisters are really proud of me. Yeah, my family is like they look at me like I gotta get in shape. Can you help me? What can I do? So I gotta get my family has been very supportive. So and
So,
that's big. My family's been very supportive. So
mhm. Yeah, because I think that's what a lot of people need. Because sometimes I talked to one lady where her mother doesn't like what she's doing. They don't talk about it. Her father's proud of her. I
hmm
have known people where like I said, relationships have changed because you changed your life as your lifestyle. You're not
yeah,
doing what they used to do.
yeah,
And sometimes friendships end. But you have those real true people that support you, that stand by you, that want to see you succeed, that's a good thing. Those other people, if they can't support you, then forget about them.
Yeah, who cares? It's like, and to me, that's not fair. To be honest. If they don't like the lifestyle, if they don't understand it. Just to like, okay, I'm cutting you off. Like, then you were never really my friend to begin with. You know,
Hmm.
and me, I'm at like, I'm just like you. I'm 50 years old. I don't have time. I don't have the energy to really just, feed into like what people think about me. If you don't like the way I look, then don't look at me. you know, if you don't like my Instagram, then unfollow me. Like I really don't. I don't give a f.
You can say it. We're adults here.
So trust me, you'll find people who will support you.
Yeah,
You will find people. It might be a handful, but that's all you need.
yeah.
You know, that's all you
Like
need.
the quote one of my favorite comedians, Bernie Mac, is it says, "Boy, if people don't like who you are, fuck them. Fuck with the haircut, fuck with the haircuts." I mean, yeah, because you got to live for you. You can't live for nobody else. And
Yeah,
if that person has a problem, that's on them.
yeah, it's their
Like I said,
problem.
yeah, because me and conversation has some leads. We talk about stuff like that, and especially like the mindset of this, because this sport can be like, I think, yes, most definitely try to get some kind of help. Some people feel like, especially in the black community, we feel like mental stuff is more of in like white people or other communities, but we're humans. And
Yes.
humans often, when we feel like dread or depression, we need the help to talk about it. I
Yeah.
mean, especially in this sport, because like I said again, this sport is mentally, physically, financially,
Mm,
emotionally draining. So many
yeah.
sacrifices. There's things you could do better with your time and your money, but because you love what you're doing,
Hmm.
you just do it.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I would encourage anybody to get therapy. There's nothing wrong. I feel like asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. It'll make you just like I always say, just get. Like I say, therapists have therapists. It's okay to talk to somebody that's a professional in that field that can really help you. Can really help you go. Can really help you get through whatever it is you're going through. You know, I do it. I see. I have a therapist. I see her every 2 weeks. Well, like now it's so dope because you can like since the pandemic, we like just like this. How you and me are talking. This is the same way I speak to her. And we speak every 2 weeks. I'm not ashamed to say. I'm not ashamed to say that I have a therapist. Because she helps me a lot.
Mhm. Yeah,
You know,
you
and you
should.
really- she helps me a lot. So, and she is part of my. Like anything you do. Like I exercise my body every morning at the gym. You know, with her, I'm exercising. My mind and my mental. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's very important to talk to someone
Mhm.
because aside from the bodybuilding, there's other things that you have other things going on in your life. It's not just bodybuilding. Yeah, people have other problems. You know, bodybuilding is the sport I do, but I got other things going on in my life too. you know,
Mhm.
and it's good to talk to somebody to help. Just to help you work through the problems. I mean, the world isn't perfect. There's nothing is without any stress. If you had no stress, then that just means you live in a bubble. There's
Mhm.
always some kind of stress factor. There's always something that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Like, but I'm saying is like with a therapist, you can manage that stress. And me, I've learned how to prioritize my worries. But like some worries, like don't even make my worry list. It's like, look, I ain't got time.
There ain't time for that.
I ain't got time to worry about that. So I'm taking that off my worry list. And like it helps. Like therapy will help you manage your stress. It'll help you get through it.
Mhm.
So definitely don't rule it out. And I know how we grew up. Black, I think my parents would have, not my mom, my mother, my father. Oh, we don't. No, no, you don't need therapy. You don't need that. You don't need that. Why? It doesn't mean getting therapy doesn't mean you're crazy.
Mhm.
That, I mean, I think that's a very narrow-minded way of thinking. And that's the way he was. He's like, oh no, we don't need therapy. And I'm like, uh, as an adult, yes you do.
Yeah.
Yes you really do. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell anybody, don't rule it out.
Yeah.
So
Because one thing is, if the mind's not willing, the body's not going to follow.
that's right.
You got to fix this here before anything else. Fix anything else down here.
Yep.
It's
That's
it's
right.
important. I think all people should think about it because I
Yeah.
think there'll be less problems to people realizing I have a problem. I need to talk to somebody. I know I saw one lady who mentioned that her husband, her ex-husband, the father of her children, he committed suicide. And I
Oh,
think, especially
uh,
as men, we are set to understand. We're supposed to be stoic. We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to be like that. But
yeah.
sometimes we need to sit down. If it's just to talk to somebody and let our feelings know, because you know what, we shouldn't hide our feelings,
Yes.
especially from other people. We should let people know that we need help.
Mhm.
We have a problem, and just put me to the right direction. If it's just somebody who just because sometimes some ladies who come friendly with, we have talked on the phone about things, and sometimes you may just need a friend to talk to hear your problems. Maybe not to solve it, but just to hear, because there's so much to this, especially not just being a bodybuilder, but just being an athlete in general. So
Mhm.
much is involved in it. The time you put into it and the effort you put into it, the discipline you have to have, and then it's the one thing important. Is like it's more important to have discipline than it has motivation. I remember I talked to some ladies about that.
Yeah. Yeah. You need discipline, not motivation. Yeah, definitely need discipline, motivation. What the hell is motivation? I don't know. People say I'm not motivated. I don't even know. I don't know what the fuck that is.
See,
Like what? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
but
really don't. What is the definition of motivation? I know what discipline is. I know what that is. Discipline to me, you means you just show. You show up every day. That is discipline. You show up with your nutrition. You show up like going to the gym. You know. You show up like with your sleep. You show up with your family. It's like so much more. It's not just about just going to the gym, doing a few workouts, and then you eat a little something, and then that's it. Like, nah, man, it's so much more to it than that. This life, you still gotta live your life. So I believe in mind, body, soul. You gotta show up physically, mentally, and spiritually. That's discipline to me. I don't know what the fuck motivation is. Like, what the fuck? Oh, I'm not motivated. What the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't. What does that mean? It means I heard somebody say, "Oh, they can't go to the gym because their friend doesn't go to the gym anymore, so they're not motivated." And I'm like, "Huh?"
don't worry about them. You do it because you want to do it. If they don't
Yeah,
want to do it, that's their choice.
yeah. I'm
But
like, "What is?"
if you want to do, you should live for you. Don't worry about your friends that want to do. That's the
Yeah,
problem. Like I always say, like if your friends jump off the bridge, we jump off with them.
exactly.
Yeah,
So motivation, I don't know what that means. Whatever. Discipline, discipline is where it's at.
yeah. And
And,
one
and
thing
even that, discipline, it takes time too.
Mhm.
Discipline is
Yeah.
something that has to be